So the big question is this: how are real estate agents like us, who didn't cheat and take on venture capital and are spending money from our own pockets, how do we compete with these billion-dollar real estate tech companies and iBuyers in a way that lets us bring our services and the things we believe in out into the world and still remain profitable? That's the big question. And on this podcast, we'll give you the answers. Welcome to the iBuyer experiment.
Hey, everybody. We are super stoked and excited to have a guest on the iBuyer Experiment podcast today, Byron Lazine, who is a real estate coach, a real estate entrepreneur. Looks like he's licensed in several different states. He is the CEO of RE3 Media. And outside of that, man, I want to just kind of hand it over to you, kick it off, and have you start off by telling us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm not a coach. All right. I want to make sure I make that clear. I don't want to get Tom Ferry all flustered here. I am not a real estate coach. I mean, outside of like coaching the team and that kind of stuff. I'm always happy to, like, someone DMs me or something and wants to like chat. I'm always happy to do that, but I am not
a coach for hire.
Correct. That's correct. Yeah. There's not anything wrong with that. I just, I'm part of the Tom Ferry coaching ecosystem. A bunch of coaches. I've got a bunch of coaches, but anyways, yeah, I'm not a coach. Got a real estate team, media company, and all things real estate. The media companies only takes on real estate clients, real estate related, whether you're a builder, developer, the real estate team, that's a non-competitor, that kind of stuff. Our brokerage, William Ravis, we do a lot of products for the 4,800 agents there. And yeah, that's my deal.
100. Wow.
That's a big brokerage.
I know. That's massive.
A big brokerage. I know it.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
They're the second largest privately owned. So Howard Hanna and then William Ravis are the two largest privately owned brokerages in the country, which is nice, right? Because the big box brokerages are a little more difficult to, have an influence in, if you will. So you can as an agent or a team or whatever, you can really form a better partnership, in my opinion, with a privately owned.
Nice.
Again, not that there's anything wrong with the other ones. I'll say that probably 100 times because I'm trying not to offend as many people as I usually do when I come on podcasts. So I'll try to, keep it all cool with everybody.
Well, one of the things that I love and I admire about you is just the consistency I have seen with your podcast.
Yeah.
So you do a podcast. You've been doing it for quite a while. Tell us a little bit about your podcast.
Yeah. So the Real Word, which is, that's the one we were talking about before we started with Nicole. Real Word is today. We just recorded 170, our 170th episode. So every single week we record on Tuesdays at 10 o'clock, every single Tuesday. It's all about consistency, doing it every single week. Nothing can move that, time block in our calendar. There's rarely an occasion. Nicole went on a 40th birthday excursion to the Florida Keys last week. So we did move it last week to Monday, but we never skip. You got to keep doing it every single week. We've added a second show to the Real Word called Real Word Confessionals. We actually just had Tom Ferry on.
I listened to that one. It was awesome.
Oh, cool. Thank you. And so the Real Word, though, is, it's just really three topics. We call them rackets. Is it a racket or not? Trending topics that are in our industry, whether it's off of Inman or, a national news source or whatever. And we just describe what's going on, give our 2 cents, and we keep it simple, right? If you've got a format or you're trying to figure out a format of a show, if you're an agent listening to this right now and you're trying to figure out what your show should be, just keep it simple. We literally pick 3 topics, and it makes it easy because all the clickbait, they've already, written the headlines. We use the same headlines that they're using so that, they've already figured out what works and what doesn't. And I often tell agents, like, just look in your email and start a question and answer show. And, you could have 50 shows for the next 50 weeks just by taking the last 50 questions you've been asked by consumers, sellers, buyers, investors, people interested in real estate, and just start asking yourself questions. Hey, I just got asked this question. This question was just sent to me. You don't have to say that it was just sent to me in an email in the middle of a deal. Hey, this question was just sent to me, and you got a question and answer show.
I love it. I love your content strategy ideas. Do you find that a lot of people get hung up on what content to make versus rather just doing it?
Yeah, always. And even like, we're really brand focused, individual agent brand focus on the team. And still even some agents are like, well, I haven't posted because it's not like the level of content that I want to put out there, but it's such a like personal view. Somebody else would get value if you just, if you just put more of it out there and not worry about, people get hung up on how much engagement am I getting in terms of likes or whatever. When you're in real estate, especially if you're looking for business in a local community, a lot of the people you're looking to do business with may not engage in your actual content. And so if you just keep putting it out there consistently, eventually the right eyeballs are going to see it and you're going to get, invited to the right meeting. It's how I got my first development.
Wow. That's really cool. I 100% agree.
They're
too.
listening, they're watching, right? It's all about consistency and
consistency.
When they have that need, they know who to call, right?
That's right.
Speaking of clickbait, iBuyers have been in the news like for the last 2, 3, 4 years.
Yep.
And we are the iBuyer experiment. I had a question for you, Byron. In 2028, what's this iBuyer landscape going to look like to you? What's your call? I like to make the forecasts and then see in 2028 if we're still doing the iBuyer experiment.
We're listening.
What did Byron say in 2021?
Yeah, absolutely. So we can clip it out and see how
right
or wrong. Here's where
Open Door, Zillow, OfferPad, all these iBuyers. What's going to happen?
Somebody's going to be bought.
Here's where I think it's going. Obviously right now, let's start with right now. Right now, it is a marketing play for these companies, right? To collect data, generate more leads for, Zillow partners or Redfin, their employee, whatever, however you want to look at that. It is a marketing play right now. I believe when we fast forward into the future, say 2028, this is going to be used as a way to control inventory in our residential real estate market, right? So if you think about how hedge funds and Wall Street control stocks, the stock market at times, right? Obviously, like right now, this past year, Reddit gamblers have had a little fun with that and irritated hedge funds, right? But big Wall Street money has historically controlled stock prices. I believe these companies that we're describing right now are going to be in a good position if they keep their strong capital, the strong capital positions to control the market. So if you get a big, a downturn and there's going to be a lot of foreclosures, why would banks go back to selling these things one off ever again, right? REO, going to an REO company and listing one property after another on the MLS with an agent, and you need an agent over here, an agent over here, and those relationships, when you can just go to Zillow and dump off 5,000 off your balance sheet like that.
I'll just pick up the whole portfolio.
Absolutely. And then Zillow or, Redfin or Open Door or whoever, emerges as the winner in this space, is going to be able to control the inventory. Okay, we're in a down market. We're going to hold some of these now. We'll start to sell them. Now, a lot of the companies that bought single family homes that, not the Zillows of the world, but just these big institutional companies, they're not selling them right now when inventory is at its all-time low, because they like to show that long-term, guaranteed income, the rental income and the return that they're getting from that. But I do believe, because Zillow's, obviously making money by, being able to get a piece of the transaction now. And so kind of steadying out the amount of transactions that happen every single year through controlling bulks of inventory, that's where I think it's going.
Yeah. So what's the percentage like in 2028 for iBuyers? How much control do you think?
Yeah. I mean, Brad Inman was really, really wrong on his prediction in the beginning of 2020.
Was it like half or something like that?
He said
Yeah,
50%.
super zealous.
50%, yeah.
He said 50%, but obviously, maybe he was early on that. Could that be, could it grow to that number? I don't think so. I think in 2028, we're still not at Brad's number of 50%. but is it a double-digit chunk of the pie? Yeah, I could see that. I think it's going to take a downturn between now and 28 for them to scoop up a whole bunch of inventory for it to be double digits, 15%, whatever, yeah, I mean, to me, between 10 and 20% feels right. That's just a guess. It's a wild guess. Like, don't, well, obviously we will see if I'm right or wrong in 2020.
Well,
In 2028, right?
I'm with you. And when the market, eventually starts to cool off nationally, these models make a lot more sense, right? Like it's actually harder to compete for them in getting the seller to accept their offer, because you can sell your house in seconds in just about everywhere in America.
Yeah. Yeah. If you have a demand switch where you've got really low demand, this becomes really attractive.
Oh gosh, yes.
And they're getting they're to their credit right now, they're spending a lot of money to do it, but they're getting the data and they're getting the quirks figured out of these, of these offers, of these models.
Yep.
And if there is a downturn, the ones that have figured it out, that have spent time there, they're going to do well.
So I have a question for you along Jay's there that's a little bit more current in landscape. I mean, see, obviously you got a team up in, the Connecticut area, and then it sounds like you have some operations down in Florida, which, they have more of an iBuyer presence down there. How much contrast do you see from the two different places?
It's very different. Connecticut would be one of the last places I would touch.
Yep.
As an iBuyer, any of those states, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, upstate New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, I wouldn't want to be there if I'm an iBuyer. But where I'm sitting right now in Naples, Florida, where you have these gated communities of 1,500 homes, 500 homes, 700 homes, and there's 7 or 8 floor plans, and you do not need to walk into these properties to figure out what they're worth. Right. And that's where it makes a lot of sense to me. Every single, lot is essentially the same, right? They're post-stamp lots, where in Connecticut, you could have a raised ranch. Do you guys know what raised ranches are where you are?
No, what is it?
No. Okay. So raised ranch is like one of the crappiest houses you could buy. It's literally, what a 1-level ranch is, right?
Yeah.
So it's like raised. So like the basement is like sticking out of the ground, and you can like see the foundation, and then the like ranch part is like sticking out
kind of ugly
from the house. It's a weird little thing, right? And there's split level. So you could have a raised ranch on, a half an acre, and then right next to that you could have a colonial, a lot of colonials in New England, right? You could have a colonial on 5 acres, and then it's just everything's very different. So it's
values are so different.
It's harder without actually knowing that local area inside and out, and getting into the properties, that the values can really be there's not any of those communities like here in Florida or in Arizona or these types of places where you don't have to go to the property or even to the community to figure out the price point.
Yeah, those valuation models are, especially I've heard that they're trying to do some things through satellite imagery and, all kinds of certain things that they're developing. I'm very curious to see what they'll unfold with their valuation models as it continues to progress.
I'd be very interested to know the extent of what they have running in the background, or whether it's just a bunch of monkeys in the background comping homes. I mean, I have my theories. We've all talked about that, but I'm curious though, you have a lot of knowledge in the industry. What are some of the things that you're seeing right now that you think are, maybe like cool or interesting, or things to watch?
I mean, I think what's been pretty cool over the last year is the agents that have went old school stuff. They've really, and I'm pretty, people are like, wow, it always shocks me when you say that, because you're doing podcasts, doing all this kind of stuff that's more, new or whatever. But the agents that have really dug deep into their sphere, into their network on a personal level, really listen to the consumer, use tech, use, Facebook analytics, or, or just to watch their conversations or groups that they're in, local groups, or, see what they're talking about. with each other, not even commenting on the post, just reading what they're talking about with their friends and family, and then engaged with them on their interests, whether that's a gift or, sending them some information on stuff that they're really interested on a personal level. The agents that have done that this year, handwritten notes, ninja selling, giftology type of stuff, those are the agents that I think are really finding a lot of success in a low inventory, that they're getting more referrals than other agents, that they're finding an easier time in this market. So I think that's pretty cool. Radio, I'm a big believer in radio. People are shocked when I say that. On a really local level, it doesn't work in every single market. But if you've got a local, and I prefer local political talk radio shows. The political don't talk politics, but the political talk shows have the most loyal fan base. People are listening to those every single day on either side. And if it's local, you can really clean up on radio. So that's something old school that I think is cool, that's working. New stuff that's cool. I don't know that there's anything super new. Just being educated on stuff that's coming down the road that's not really here yet. I would say definitely having an iBuyer option would be pretty cool and newish. That'd be a smart thing to do. But having a show, producing content every single day, to me is not new anymore. It should be just the standard operating procedure.
Absolutely. A cornerstone of your business.
Yeah, I agree. But as I see, initially I saw a lot of agents use video, right? It was like video. Everybody was going Facebook Live. Everybody was doing, model home tours and whatnot. And then I saw it fall off, right? Everybody just stopped. And so I'm wondering now, obviously we're doing podcasts, right? And I see a lot more podcasts. I'm wondering if that's the new thing. But how many of us are going to be like you and go to 170 episodes? Congratulations, by the way. That's amazing. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's just, it's just embracing whatever you're doing and sticking with it. Just keep.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, if you want to clean up on something cool, it's pretty cool to get huge organic views. And so that would be Instagram Reels. That's very cool right now. And it's also just really smart, because your organic views on Instagram Reels is crazy. I think it's what TikTok was doing, in the beginning of the pandemic and all this kind of stuff. But for agents, TikTok is you might feel really good if you're Zach Faust, shout out to Zach. If you're Zach and you've got 1.6 million on TikTok, but is that really, it's probably getting you a bigger following on some of your other platforms, but that's not getting you business in your local community. You want to get business in your local community? IG Reels are really smart right now.
Yeah.
I've seen some of yours kind of blow up.
I know. It's crazy because the views I get on those are way bigger than any other views. And it's content that I've never done, that 12-second stupid content that I just think is annoying, basically. And one of them, it was just legitimately a 50 Cent song and the stupidest thing ever. And it got 60,000 views, which is not even right. It's absurd. It should not have gotten that much. It's a terrible piece of content, but it helped all my other content, the content I really care about, the podcast clips and the stories. I got to get back to doing Reels. The last couple of weeks I've been slipping. So this is now my moment here to tell myself, get back into Reels.
Do Reels. Out. Come on.
Yeah. You'll see all your content views go up for sure.
Yeah. So having 4,800 agents that, that I guess potentially that the media company that you run kind of works with, and, I guess almost what type of simple strategies are you guys putting in place, potentially at scale around media to help those agents grow their business?
The one I push the most is the Q&A show. Let's go into your inbox. Let's pick out 52 questions. And now we have the whole year planned out. Yeah. Let's just grab 52 questions that you've been asked, because the biggest stumbling block is people, not being able to decide on what content. The other issue is trying to parse it down. Let's just start with a show and go from there. Because so many agents are they want a customized package. I want my whole social media managed, and I, LinkedIn and YouTube and a blog, and they name like 27 different things. Like, absolutely, you can do that. Like I've been spending tens of thousands a month to do all those different things, personal brand, team, all this. Do you want to go there for that? But oh, no.
Yeah.
I was thinking like 1,500 a month. Yeah. You're not getting
Yeah.
all these different things for 1,500 a month. It is crazy. And so let's pick a thing like a show, execute really well on that. And if you're, more short version reels, let's like just format an everyday show around that. If you're long form, like we're doing here, podcast, I love on podcasts. I like just doing, let's pick a 3 topic thing. 1, 2, 3 intro, think of the 5 paragraph essay, intro, 3 paragraphs. Those are your 3 topics, conclusion, get out, right? That's the real word formula.
Yeah. We had Chris Smith of Curator on a few weeks ago, and you just said something there that really struck. He said as well, it kind of struck a nerve with me, is that you're a content consumer or you're a content creator, and being like proactive in that space is not the easiest thing in the world, right? Because again, Zillow killer James Rimburn, who we've had on there, he's like, people obviously having a ton of excuses that they don't want to put the camera in their face, they don't want to get their message out, they don't like their voice, etc. Do you have any coaching tips around that to like potentially help agents to just kind of get out of their head and get into
He's not a
action?
coach. He's not a coach.
Well,
but we can only ask Tom Ferry.
Can you text Tom real quick on that one?
Yeah, I mean, well, Tom, what Tom Ferry always says is, everybody already knows what you look like, right? That's his big line.
Exactly.
They already know what you look like. No, when I need to get out of my head, actually, there's when I got into real estate, and I was in a really bad place. I had bought, and I'll give you guys the long story super short. I bought 3 houses, 19 to 21, made every single mistake in the book. By my mid-20s, I lost everything, went bankrupt, working a job I completely hated, falling into depression, living in regret with all the mistakes I made. Needs to get out of this job. Everybody's telling me don't get out of this job. Unemployment's really high. This is like 2011, 10 years ago. And don't leave. You're making great money. With overtime, you're making 6 figures. What the heck are you doing? Thinking about leaving. When I applied for this job, there was 2,000 applicants. Eight of us got it. Quit stone cold, quit the job, went into real estate, which was crazy because that's the field that I went bankrupt in. And during that transitional time, I found this video on YouTube. The reason I made all the mistakes, by the way, is because I never had a coach. I never, I didn't go to college. I wasn't highly educated, never read, I'm in a great mastermind right now. Wasn't masterminding with people, wasn't growing, my mental capacity. And so I found this video on YouTube, which really shifted the way I thought about everything. It's, I don't know if you guys ever heard of this guy, Eric Thomas.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
of course, the rapping preacher.
Yeah, exactly. So this dude's got this old school video before he blew up where he's talking. It's like a 14-minute clip. It's so crazy that I'm talking about this because I just sent it to one of my agents last night, and I was like, I haven't watched it in a while. I watched it last night. That's awesome. So if you look up Eric Thomas, Want It As Bad As You Want to Breathe.
Oh yeah. I just got goosebumps. Yep. I love that video.
That one.
I've watched this video over 1,000 times. My first year in real estate, I would watch it in the morning and at night every single day. So I watched it 700 times that one year. I've watched it multiple times since then, over 1,000 times for sure. And when I want to get out of my headspace, let's circle it all the way back. An agent who's worried about what they're going to look like online, how bad do you actually want to be successful in this game? How bad do you really want to be, whether it's top producer or make enough money to pay off your spouse's college debt, which an agent on my team did last year in 6 months, or pay for your kid's college or whatever. How bad do you really want it? Go watch that video for 14 minutes. You'll be ready to run through a brick wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
So good. So good.
I know. Well, we're like almost out of time. Unfortunately, we're going to have you back sometime in the future.
I'd love to be back. You guys are awesome.
Any final thoughts or anything like that you have for us? Anybody else? Anything?
Final thought. Team me up on something. My final thought would be go watch that video for sure. But
Right.
I'm gonna go do that.
Yeah.
Have you never seen it?
Keith's gonna go watch it. We're gonna have Noah.
Oh my God.
We're gonna have Noah insert it into this episode.
Yes.
It's just gonna be appropriate.
Well, we actually met ET, and he gave me his phone number. I have ET's phone number.
Do you really?
Yeah. He's
Oh,
like,
you guys
actually
should
call me, and he gave me his phone number. So when you said that, I was like,
That'd
I
be
got
a
his
cool
phone
guest.
number.
That's cool.
I'd love
call.
to get him on the Real Word Confessionals. I think a good way to wrap it up actually with that last question is actually this. It's his third point in that video. Pain is temporary, right? So you got to think, even if you put out a bad video, bad piece of content, I told you guys that would happen there on my video. Even if you, right, like something like that, something just doesn't, I don't know if people see this or listening to it, but basically my camera just cut out because I don't have the right cord or some silly thing for my camera right now. We're switching out some equipment. Something like that, some people would take down the whole piece of content. Oh my God, I got to redo this whole half hour, right? Like the pain of any instance of something going wrong is so temporary, and what you learn from it, what you can grow from it and make better on the next time is so powerful. So just keep going, keep pushing, keep rowing, as TF would say. We dropped TF a whole bunch of times. He owes us something for this.
Yeah.
And just keep learning from, keep growing, get better every single day. That's your goal, right?
Awesome.
Amazing.
I love it. Okay, I'm gonna get a selfie.
Oh, let's do it.
That you can see him in the background. I might need Elliot to do this. Here, come on. I need your arm.
Let's go, Elliot.
Oh,
You get Keith
yeah,
in?
we're not gonna.
You got it. We got it.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, you'll be able to see
Got it.
her
It's
back there.
ridiculous.
Got it.
All right, man. Hey, thank you so much.
Yeah,
It's
guys, anytime.
Thank you
been
very
a
much.
pleasure. We appreciate you.
Yeah. Thanks,
Thank
Byron. Appreciate it, man.
All right.
Later, Byron.
All right, see ya.
Peace.
We truly appreciate you taking the time to be with us here today on the iBuyer Experiment podcast. Please remember to like and subscribe so that you're notified when we launch new podcasts. We'll catch you on the next one.
Show you the money.